Occupational English Test. Listening Test. This test has two parts. Part A. In this part of the test, you will hear a general practitioner talking to Josh, a man who wants to quit smoking. You will hear the consultation once only, in sections. As you listen, you must make notes about the consultation under the headings given on the answer paper. Turn over now and look quickly through Part A. You have 1 minute to do this. You must give as much relevant information as you can under each of the headings provided. You may write as you listen, and there will be pauses during the consultation for you to complete your notes under the relevant heading and to read the following heading. There will also be 2 minutes at the end of the test for you to check your answers. Give your answers in note form. Don't waste time writing full sentences. Remember, you will hear the consultation once only, and you should write as you listen. Now look at question 1. Question 1 has been done for you.
Well, thanks for coming in this morning.
Thank you.
Nice to meet you. What can we do for you this morning, Josh?
Well, I really, I've just, I'm considering quitting smoking at the moment. So I really wanted to come in and sort of start that process off and find out about the different options that I have available to sort of looking at doing that and hopefully be successful.
Now look at question 2. Take notes on the details of Josh's smoking habit.
Can you tell me a little bit about your smoking? How long you've been smoking and how many a day, that sort of thing?
Yeah, sure. Well, I smoke about a packet a day of 20, and I've been smoking since I was 15. I'm 29 now, so it's been pretty much every day since I was 15 and a half or so.
Now look at question 3. You will hear a discussion about Josh's reasons for quitting. First, take notes on the health reasons.
Why do you want to stop? Why do you want to quit smoking?
Well,
Why now?
Because, well, actually, a couple of years ago I saw on TV, there was a doctor on TV saying that if you give up by the time you're 30, you can reverse the majority of any sort of damage that you've done that, you can start to repair. But And so I got it in my head that 30 was probably a good age
Yeah.
to stop. So I've had that in my mind for a few years now, and I'm turning 30 at the end of the year. And also in the last couple of years, I've had some recurrent sort of problems with my chest infections and throat infections, tonsillitis and that sort of thing, which I figure are probably related to smoking.
Could be aggravated by the smoking.
Yeah, yeah.
So the deadline of 30 is approaching.
It is rapidly.
And you want to do something about it.
Yeah.
Now, take notes on other reasons.
Do you have any other reasons why you want to quit? There's some people want to quit because it's expensive, like it costs about $100,000 to smoke for your adult life.
Yeah.
Cost, things like that.
That's probably a side benefit more than anything else.
Side benefit,
yeah.
Family, is anyone nagging you, or have you got pressure from anybody
really.
else who? Social pressure, colleagues?
Only the sort of the greater social pressure, because it's becoming more and more difficult to smoke in public now. So
it's become socially unacceptable, less acceptable now, hasn't it?
Well, yeah, and I think it is quite unacceptable. I mean, I do feel like, sometimes people look at you, when you're in public places where there are lots of people around, it's sort of you're very uncomfortable, I think, smoking, even in open air areas.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's a sort of dying habit, isn't it?
It is.
Now look at question 4. Take notes on Josh's reasons for smoking.
They're the reasons why you want to quit.
Mm-hmm.
Why do you smoke?
Well, now, I mean, it's so long ago that I started that I smoke out of habit, and I do enjoy it.
Yes.
And that's, I think, one of my major problems is, apart from having the physical addiction, it's something that I enjoy doing. And
when you say enjoy, what do you get out of it?
Well, it gives me an opportunity. It gives me an opportunity to have breaks at work.
Yes,
I get out of the office for 5 minutes, and
it's a common reason. Common reason. People have a bit of time out.
That's it. Get a bit of headspace, and there are certain things that I enjoy with a cigarette. That when I go for a coffee, it's really nice to have a cigarette with a coffee. The taste is nice, and with alcohol as well.
So you actually enjoy it.
I feel that I do, and I think that's something that I need to try and overcome,
Now look at question 5. Take notes on Josh's general health.
You mentioned cough and tonsillitis and things like that. Is there anything else you've noticed about your health? How do you think your health is generally?
I think it's probably generally not the best. I feel, generally a bit unfit, and I find myself.
Exercise?
No, not really, not enough.
Not enough.
I try to walk a lot,
right?
But that's sort of the most exercise that I do.
Yes,
and I really go through periods where I'm conscious of having to exercise and trying to be fit, and then getting caught up in study and work and not really thinking about it, and then find after 6 months that I'm getting out of breath just climbing a set of stairs.
So getting short of breath just climbing some stairs.
Yeah.
Now look at question 6. Take notes on Josh's quitting history.
Have you ever tried to quit?
Yeah, a couple of times.
Okay, tell me what happened then.
So about 5 years ago, I think was the first time, and I was doing my VCE then, and I'd actually had a teacher on my back who I was really close to, and she was sort of putting a lot of pressure on me, and
As in nagging?
yeah, she was a bit of a nagger, but I know that it was only because she cared about me, and which is one of the reasons why I tried to give up, and I was using the gum.
Yes.
Nicotine replacement gum. And I went 1 week really without a cigarette, and then I found on the Friday I was studying in the library, and I just started crying this day for no apparent reason. And I mean, I was getting the nicotine replacement, so yeah, and I saw that teacher actually, and she said to me, "Oh no, you need to go and get a pack of cigarettes."
Yes.
Yeah.
So how long did that last, that experiment?
A week.
A week only, yes.
Yeah.
Now look at question 7. You will hear a discussion about motivation. First, take notes on the doctor's advice.
How hard do you think it'll be this time?
Oh, look, I think I'm quite aware that it's going to be very hard, I think.
The real question there is how motivated are you, isn't it? Don't you think?
Oh, absolutely.
I think if the reason to do something is strong enough, then we'll often do it.
Yeah.
And I think this is the thing we need to be clear of the reasons why we're quitting, and also clear of the reasons that we're leaving behind.
Yeah.
Why we were smoking previously.
Now, take notes on Josh's response.
So how strong are your reasons, the health reasons and the social reasons?
The health reasons are pretty strong. Like the last time I had a recurrent sort of cough, it went on, and the doctor ended up giving me an inhaler to use.
Oh, okay, like a puffer?
Yeah, yeah. And that kind of actually scared me because, it was very clear. She made it very clear that it was because of my smoking that I was having this ongoing cough. And I suppose, I just was kind of thinking, and maybe it's because I'm a bit of a hypochondriac, but, if I'm starting to have really obvious recurrent problems from the smoking, that, maybe I'm going to get lung cancer, yeah.
So that reason's been in your mind for a while now. You've been thinking about it.
Yeah, for a few months anyway, that particular reason. Yeah. And I mean, I suppose, I've always been aware that smoking's not good for your health. I mean, you can't sort of get through life without realising that, with all the information that's out there. So,
Now look at question 8. You will hear a discussion about the doctor's explanation and opinions of 2 quitting strategies. First, take notes on replacement therapies.
Just to explain, I think there's 2 parts to the quitting now. One is you can use things like replacement therapies, like Nicorette gums and patches and those sort of things, they don't really make you quit. They just offer the nicotine in a different form. So instead of inhaling it, you're taking it through the skin or across the mucous membrane of the mouth.
Yep.
I don't usually see those as a solution in themselves.
Now take notes on hypnotherapy.
There are other things you can do of a behavioural technique. The technique that I've used most in the past is hypnotherapy, which is focusing clearly on the reasons why you want to quit.
Right.
And you're focusing on the reasons why you want to keep smoking, and you're substituting and you're emphasising the ones why you want to quit.
Okay.
So you're increasing their status and priority in your mind.
Yep. Well, that's one thing actually. The hypnotism is one sort of avenue that I've been interested in finding out about, because I don't really understand how hypnotism works.
Right.
And
hypnotherapy is really just using the imagination creatively. You don't achieve things that you definitely couldn't achieve other ways, but sometimes it helps bring it about slightly quicker,
okay.
more rapidly.
Yep.
I'll come back to the hypnotherapy in a minute.
Now look at question 9. Take notes on the doctor's suggested exercise.
One of the little exercises that I've given many people is to become more aware of the habit of smoking.
Yep.
For example, if you smoke 20 cigarettes the day before yesterday, how many of those do you remember smoking?
Oh, what's today? I can't really recall enjoying any of them.
No.
I can't remember.
So
smoking.
what I'd encourage you to do is to say, okay, I'm not going to smoke any more and I'm not going to smoke any less, but I'm going to become more aware and more observant of how I'm feeling, what I'm thinking, and more importantly, how I'm feeling as I have each cigarette.
Yep.
So those 20 cigarettes, at least you get your money's worth, rather than just money going up in smoke.
Now look at question 10. You will hear a discussion about pattern intervention. First, take notes on the doctor's explanation.
The other area that's important is a psychological term called pattern intervention.
Right.
And pattern intervention is where you go about life slightly differently to bring about a different result.
Now take notes on Josh's patterns.
What are your patterns? Oh, that's definitely one. I get up and I make a cup of coffee and then I have a cigarette and a coffee.
Yes.
I always have a cigarette after I eat.
After you've had food?
Yes. Like a meal just doesn't feel complete if I don't do that.
No.
I have a cigarette with coffee, like when I have a coffee later on in the day, which I usually go to a cafe on the campus and sit down and have a cigarette there.
Now take notes on the doctor's suggestions.
Is there any way you could change those patterns? So with breakfast, is there anything else you could do? Could you have a glass of water and walk outside and...
I suppose
what could
but
you
I usually
do differently?
Feel so sluggish in the morning until I had that cigarette.
What could you do?
Yeah.
What could you do? If you really wanted to do it, what might you do?
Well, I suppose, that idea of getting up and going outside is, considering that I want to improve my overall fitness as well.
Walk around the block.
Yeah.
Say.
Yeah.
These are just suggestions. I'm not saying you should do any of these.
No, but that's actually quite a good idea to me, to my mind. Yeah.
It needs to be something you feel you want to do.
Mm-hmm.
Something you feel you could do and you could enjoy doing.
Yep.
And it's got to, in time, be capable of being more enjoyable than having a cup of coffee with a cigarette.
Right. That's going to be an idea to really,
So you
get
might try
used to.
different things. You might try a glass of water. You might try going outside and having 10 deep breaths. You might try walking around the block.
Yep.
Now look at question 11. Take notes on Josh's homework.
Before I see you next time, I'd like you to do some homework.
Okay.
Would you be happy to do that?
Yeah, sure.
I'd like you to consciously become more aware
Mm-hmm.
of each cigarette that you smoke.
Yep.
That's the first one. The second thing is I'd like you to write down on paper
Mm-hmm.
when I smoke and what the patterns are
Yep.
when I smoke,
Okay.
and possible ways in which I could modify those patterns. I'm not saying to do it straight away, but say, look, what are all the possibilities?
Sure.
Write them down. We'll look at the choices and we can discuss them next time.
Okay.
The third thing is I'll give you a little handout on hypnotherapy.
Right.
You can have a think about that and we can talk about that. Perhaps we could discuss it in a week or two when you're 1 week closer to quitting.
Fantastic.
How does that sound?
That sounds good.
Okay?
All right. Thanks.
Very nice to meet you.
You too. Thanks very much.
Good.
Cheers.
Catch up next time.
Great. Thanks.
Bye.
That is the end of Part A. Occupational English Test. Listening Test. This test has 2 parts. Part B. In this part of the test, you will hear a talk on stuttering. You will hear the talk once only, in sections. As you listen, you must answer the questions in the spaces provided on the answer paper. Turn over now and look quickly through Part B. You have 1 minute to do this. You may write as you listen, and there will be pauses during the talk for you to complete your answers and to read the following question. Remember, you will hear the tape once only, and you should write as you listen. Now read question 1. Question 1 has been done for you.
What we're going to look at now is an introduction to fluency and to stuttering. We're interested in looking at a speech disorder of rate or rhythm or flow called stuttering. And stuttering is a disruption to the rhythm of speech, a disruption to the fluent production of speech.
Now read question 2. Now listen and answer question 2.
Now, before we look at what stuttering is, what we have to look at is what constitutes fluency. We know that people are disfluent in many, many normal situations. People can be disfluent when they're learning another language and they're trying to think of the correct words to use, they're trying to think of the correct grammar, and so you'll get lots of disruptions like ums, inappropriate pauses at times, or quite appropriate pauses while they formulate the language. That's a disruption to fluency that's perfectly normal. Age can sometimes disrupt fluency. Older people might take longer to find the right word, to be very precise about what they want. And so as people age, then their fluency becomes disrupted and often can frustrate their families enormously.
Now read question 3. Now listen and answer question 3.
Now, the dimensions of fluency generally are considered to be rate of speech production, which is the speed at which somebody talks, ease of speech production, which is the effort somebody puts into speaking, and coordination or flow of speech. And stuttering can disrupt any of these dimensions. Stuttering can have an impact on speed of talking, because the more stuttering there is, the less somebody gets out. It can have an impact on effort of speech production. People who stutter often put a lot of effort into talking. It's effortful to get the words out. And certainly the continuity or flow of their speech is disrupted.
Now read question 4. Now listen and answer question 4.
Now, someone who stutters can have their speech disrupted in a variety of ways. They might do repetitions, and repetitions can be of sounds, syllables, parts of words, whole words, or phrases. So you might get this sort of thing, or you'd get this sort of thing. a variety of repetitions. Blocking is another type of stuttering where the person knows exactly what they want to say, but they are unable to get anything out. So you might get this sort of thing happening where nothing comes out, and we call that blocking. Sounds can be elongated, and that's another aspect of stuttering behaviour. So sounds are prolonged or stretched out, and you might get this sort of thing where sounds are really stretched inappropriately. It's a loss of control of the flow of speech. People can insert words, so you might get this sort of thing where or any other word is inserted to keep the flow. People can avoid words, substitute words, in an attempt to keep their speech moving. And there are other aspects of stuttering as well, but they're the main categories of disfluency.
Now read question 5. Now listen and answer question 5.
Additionally, we have what are called overt features and covert features of stuttering. An overt feature is a feature of stuttering that you can see or hear. So if somebody is stuck, if they're blocking and they're frowning, or they're doing excessive eye blinking, you can see that, you can count that behaviour, you can measure that behaviour. That's an overt sign of stuttering. A covert feature of stuttering is really what we consider the person's reaction to stuttering. It's what they have to deal with that we don't hear. So it might be an increase in body tension. It might be anticipation. It might be frustration. It might be feelings of guilt, of anxiety, of despair, of embarrassment. Those sorts of things are what we call the covert or hidden features of stuttering.
Now read question 6. Now listen and answer question 6.
Now, we basically think that stuttering at the moment is a problem with speech motor control. People who stutter know what they want to say. They know exactly what they want to say, but at that instance in time, they're unable to produce their speech fluently and easily. They lose control of their speech production. And we think that the evidence is that stuttering is a speech motor control problem. Certainly, we know that some people can inherit a predisposition to stutter. We know that stuttering occurs in all races. We know that the onset of stuttering might be sudden or it might be gradual. We know that people who stutter report fluctuations in their fluency. And we know that approximately 60% of people who stutter have a family history of stuttering. We also know that males are more likely to stutter than females. And the general incidence that's quoted is 3 or 4 times more males than females stutter.
Now read question 7. Now listen and answer question 7.
Approximately 1% of the population stutters, and significantly more preschool and school-age children stutter. Incidence figures range for the school-age population from about 2.5% to 5%. So many more preschool and young school-age children stutter than in the normal total population. Children who are twins, especially identical twins, are more at risk to stutter, and there's a greater incidence of stuttering in the population with intellectual disability. We also know that about 75% of the risk of stuttering has occurred by 3.5 years. So it is highly likely that professionals will come across young children who are stuttering, and children as young as 2 can certainly be exhibiting stuttering behaviours, and most children by their 3rd birthday are likely to have started stuttering if they are going to. Having said that, most children who start to stutter will spontaneously remit. So in other words, most children who start to stutter when they're young will grow out of it.
Now read question 8. Now listen and answer question 8.
There are certain conditions that facilitate or induce fluency. So if you were, for example, a speech pathologist and you wanted to show somebody that they could be fluent, that they had the ability to be fluent, certain fluency-inducing conditions for people who stutter are when they speak alone, when they speak in unison with other people. So, for example, saying poetry, saying prayers, talking situations where they speak with others, speaking to a baby, speaking to an animal, and singing, which in fact uses a different part of the brain. People can also be fluent when they're swearing, when they're speaking in rhythm, so speaking to a beat, generally in syllable timing. They tend to be fluent when they're writing simultaneously to when they're speaking, and when they're putting on an accent. And interestingly, there are a number of actors who stutter, who don't stutter when they're assuming a role.
Now read question 9. Now listen and answer question 9.
One of the things that professionals dealing with people who stutter need to consider is what are the implications or the impact of stuttering on the person who stutters. And these implications and impacts can be far-reaching. Stuttering has an impact on families. It has an impact on somebody's social life and on their social well-being. From the point of view of the family, obviously somebody growing up with stuttering from an early age may well have parents who are extremely concerned about their speech and about the impact of stuttering. Families can compensate. Families can excuse the person who stutters, the child who stutters, from some talking activities. They may treat the child differently. They may protect the child. They can react in a variety of ways. Social situations for many people who stutter can be a nightmare. Many people who stutter report avoiding social situations. Particularly, they might avoid telephoning people. And text messaging on mobile phones has become a godsend for many people who stutter, because they can maintain communication with people without actually having to speak. People who stutter also might avoid asking people out. They might avoid doing things like buying movie tickets or asking for train tickets, bus tickets. They'll do all of that non-verbally. Or it may just be that they go into social situations, but they tend to be quieter than they would like to be, or they say less.
Now read question 10. Now listen and answer question 10.
In terms of education, stuttering can have many implications. One of the biggest problems for those who stutter is dealing with teasing and bullying, particularly in the early school years and in the years of transition from primary to secondary school, where bullying can often increase. Certainly, it might affect subject choice, and for people who have been stuttering in secondary school or higher school years, stuttering can impact on their assessment. People often have to give seminars or class presentations, oral assessments, and stuttering can have a huge impact on that. Many people who stutter feel that their teachers never really know how much they know because they don't answer questions in class or make extended comments in class.
Now read question 11. Now listen and answer question 11.
Now, I am exaggerating or overgeneralising to make the point, and not everybody who stutters has the same degree of impact. And it's important to note that a mild stutter, a low level of stuttering, can impact on somebody significantly to the point where they will avoid social situations. And people who have quite severe stutters might be outgoing and might say that the stutter doesn't make a great deal of difference to them. So The amount of stuttering is not always related to the impact of stuttering on the individual. Stuttering, though, can affect how somebody views themselves. It can rot them to the core, for want of a better expression. It can totally overwhelm their sense of self and their sense of well-being. And it's important when considering stuttering and its impact on an individual that we ask the person who stutters how stuttering affects them and what they feel about this disorder that they're grappling with. So when we are assessing somebody who stutters, it is very important to look not only at the stuttering behaviour and at the speech behaviours, but what stuttering means to that person and how it has affected them in terms of levels of anxiety, in terms of social functioning, so that we get an overall view of stuttering and a very comprehensive look at the person who stutters and the disability of stuttering that they are having to deal with on a daily basis.
That is the end of Part B. You now have 2 minutes to check your answers.